Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Jordan Trammell, and I would like to thank you for taking the time today to join me as I share an excerpt from one of my favorite speeches given by C.S. Lewis on a BBC radio broadcast on March 21st, 1944, titled Beyond Personality, Mere Men. Before we delve into that, though, I would like to share just a little bit about C.S. Lewis and why this speech is so important to me. C.S. Lewis was born in Belfast, Ireland on November 29th, 1898. He passed away in Oxfordshire, England on November 22nd, 1963. He was a scholar, a theologian, and a World War I veteran, and most notably a novelist, writing such books as The Screwtape Letters, Mere Christianity, and a little-known series called The Chronicles of Narnia. I find this speech so meaningful because it reminds me that we're never alone when it comes to God, and that with our relationship with God, C.S. Lewis so masterfully explains how the Father always has time for us. In fact, he has infinite time for us, for every single one of us, as if we were the only one ever created. This is the excerpt from his speech. Our life comes to us moment by moment. One moment disappears before the next comes along, and there's room for precious little in each. That is what time is like. And of course, you and I tend to take it granted that this time series, this arrangement of past, present, and future, isn't simply the way life comes to us, but by the way all things clearly exist. We tend to assume that the whole universe, and God himself are always moving on from past to a future, just as we are. But many learned men don't agree with that. I think it was the theologians who first started the idea that some things are not in time at all. Later, the philosophers took it over, and now even some of the scientists are doing the same. Almost certainly, God is not in time. His life doesn't consist of moments following one another. If 1 million people are praying to him at 10:30 at night, he hasn't got to listen to them all in that one little snippet of which we call 10:30. 10:30 in every moment from the beginning to the end of the world is always present for him. If you like to put it that way, he has an infinity in which to listen to the split second of the prayer put up by the pilot as his plane crashes down in flames. It's difficult, I know. I can try and give you something not the same, but a bit like it. Suppose I'm writing a novel and I write Mary laid down her book. Next moment came a knock at the door. For Mary, who's got to live in the imaginary time of the story, there is no interval between putting down the book and hearing the knock. But I, her creator, between writing the first part of that sentence and the second, may have gone out for an hour's walk and spend the whole hour thinking about Mary. Now, I know that's not a perfect example, but it may just give a glimpse of what I mean. The point I want to drive home is that God has infinite attention, infinite leisure to spare for each one of us. He doesn't have to take us in line. You are as much alone with him as if you were the only thing that he ever created. When Christ died, he died for you individually, just as much as you had been the only person in the world.